The FAT application thesis, AI as a Sixth Sense and the Rise of AI-Augmented Enterprises. Section 1, Core Thesis. As AI dramatically increases the supply of intelligence, sustainable economic value is shifting toward AI-augmented enterprises, organizations that combine proprietary data, accumulated experience, contextual knowledge, and AI-driven perception to deliver superior outcomes. The AI industry is experiencing a classic commoditization cycle. Foundation models are becoming faster, cheaper, more standardized, and increasingly interchangeable through routing platforms. As raw intelligence grows abundant, the durable sources of competitive advantage are migrating downward to physical infrastructure with real scarcity, chips, power, data centers, and upward to the application layer where domain-specific context, customer relationships, and workflows reside. This is not the end of foundation models. It is their maturation into essential but strategically squeezed infrastructure, much like cloud computing or relational databases today. The fattest margins and stickiest value will accrue to enterprises that turn AI into an embedded cognitive layer rather than treating it as a standalone product. Section 2. Why this shift is happening now. The evidence for model commoditization is visible in 2025 to 2026 market behavior. Inference costs have plummeted, open source models close the gap on frontier performance with remarkable speed, and model routing platforms allow users to access dozens or hundreds of models through a single interface. Customers increasingly ask not which model answered, but did I get the result I needed? This dynamic echoes earlier technology waves. When electricity became ubiquitous, companies that simply sold power did well, but the greatest fortunes went to those who built factories, appliances, and workflows optimized around abundant electricity. Intelligence is following the same pattern. Infrastructure providers, NVIDIA, TSMC, hyperscalers, power companies, capture value through physical scarcity and capital intensity. At the other end, domain-native organizations are discovering they can absorb AI without becoming AI companies. They simply become dramatically better at what they already do. Section 3. AI as a Sixth Sense. AI is best understood not as artificial intelligence in the abstract, but as a new human and organizational sense, a perceptual layer that reveals patterns, correlations, anomalies, and opportunities previously invisible. Humans have 5 traditional senses. Organizations have long relied on data, expertise, and intuition. AI introduces pattern perception at superhuman scale and speed. It can simultaneously analyze millions of data points, detect weak signals, synthesize disparate information, and surface insights that would require impossible human bandwidth. This is not science fiction. It is already happening in practice. A defense team sees operational risks and opportunities emerge in real time across complex theaters. A sales organization perceives customer intent and churn risk before traditional metrics would reveal them. A financial professional surfaces hidden connections across filings, news, and market data that no single analyst could assemble. In each case, AI does not replace judgment. It dramatically expands what can be perceived, allowing better judgment. Section 4. The Rise of AI-Augmented Enterprises. An AI-augmented enterprise is an organization that enhances its existing expertise, workflows, institutional knowledge, and proprietary data with AI to improve perception, judgment, decision-making, and outcomes. The core formula is straightforward. Proprietary data plus institutional experience plus domain context plus AI equals AI-augmented enterprise. Crucially, the AI is not the business. The AI amplifies the business. This represents an evolutionary leap. Legacy enterprises optimized for a pre-AI world are like dinosaurs, powerful but increasingly mismatched to the new environment. AI-augmented enterprises are the mammals, smaller and more agile in some respects, but far better adapted to abundant intelligence. AI itself is the environmental change event. The distinction is not merely technological, it is about philosophy and architecture. AI-augmented enterprises do not bolt AI onto their operations as a separate tool. They integrate it into their nervous system, embedding it in workflows, feedback loops, and decision processes so that perception becomes continuous and native. This content is brought to you by Bobby Giggs. Promote your brand here and reach a wide audience across platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Follow the links in the description to get started. Section 5. The Context Thesis. In an era of abundant intelligence, context becomes the scarce resource. The real value chain is proprietary data leads to repeated exposure. Repeated exposure leads to experience. Experience leads to context. Context leads to judgment. Judgment leads to outcome. Raw data provides visibility. Repeated exposure builds experience. Experience, properly internalized, creates context. Context enables nuanced judgment. Judgment drives superior outcomes. Foundation models excel at general intelligence but lack deep proprietary context. The organizations that own the context, through decades of domain operations, customer relationships, and institutional memory, are uniquely positioned to multiply the power of AI. They turn generic intelligence into highly specific, high-stakes value. Section 6. The Fat Application Layer. This reality produces what we call the Fat Application Thesis. Value concentrates in the application and workflow layer, where domain expertise meets customer needs. The application owns distribution, trust, proprietary workflows, and the relationship with the end user. Foundation models become important but interchangeable components inside these applications, routed, ensembled, or swapped based on cost and performance. Palantir exemplifies defense and operational perception. It does not primarily sell AI models. It sells mission outcomes, battlefield awareness, logistics optimization, intelligence fusion, built on its ontology and workflows. The AI models are essential ingredients, but the product is the enhanced organizational perception and decision capability. Salesforce demonstrates customer perception. Through Einstein and especially Agentforce, it has turned its CRM platform into an AI-augmented nervous system for sales, service, and marketing teams. Customers buy improved revenue outcomes and operational efficiency, not raw LLMs. The proprietary customer data and workflow history provide the irreplaceable context. Bloomberg represents financial and market perception. The terminal, enhanced with tools like AskB and Bloomberg GPT, allows professionals to perceive signals and synthesize information across vast datasets with unprecedented speed and accuracy. Bloomberg's proprietary data corpus and decades of institutional trust create a moat that generic models cannot replicate. Stripe illustrates payment and fraud perception. Its radar system and AI capabilities detect sophisticated fraud patterns and optimize payment flows using deep transaction context that only Stripe possesses at scale. Again, the AI amplifies the core business rather than replacing it. These organizations succeed because they own the last mile, the domain-specific application layer where intelligence meets real-world outcomes. Section 7. Implications and testable predictions. If the FAT application thesis holds, several outcomes become likely over the next 3 to 5 years. Margin pressure will intensify on pure foundation model providers as routing and open-source alternatives commoditize access. Infrastructure leaders with physical moats, semiconductors, power, data centers, will sustain strong returns. AI-Augmented Enterprises, both incumbents and vertical specialists, will command premium valuations due to higher retention, pricing power, and defensible context. The most successful new AI companies will likely be those that deeply embed into specific vertical workflows rather than offering general intelligence. Incumbent enterprises that fail to augment will face increasing competitive pressure from those that do. Risks remain. Integration challenges are real. Execution matters enormously. Not every domain will benefit equally, and regulatory or data access issues could shift the landscape. Yet the directional signal is clear. Context and perception are becoming the decisive advantages. Section 8. Conclusion. The AI era does not belong solely to those who build the smartest models. It belongs to those who most effectively apply abundant intelligence inside domains where they possess unique context, relationships, and trust. AI-augmented enterprises represent the natural evolution of the firm in an age of superabundant intelligence. They treat AI as a sixth sense, a perceptual upgrade layered onto centuries of accumulated human and organizational capability. The AI is not the business. The AI amplifies the business. And in that amplification lies the next generation of enduring competitive advantage.